Hello there, I'm Thomas. I'm the pilot flying the Boeing 737-800 NGX for tonight's flight from Zurich International Airport back to Zurich International Airport. We're going to be flying at flight level 250 to 85,000 feet with max speed of 0.78 or 325 knots. Our weather conditions are snowing and icing, and I'm going to be explaining some of the aircraft systems while I'm doing the aircraft preparation for takeoff. We're now at this phase, and while we're flying and approaching for a descent and approach, and then doing the landing. So here you can see the Boeing 737-800 cockpit. We have all the aircraft's instruments on display. You can see the yoke here, with which we control the flight control surfaces in the wings, which is the ailerons and the spoilers. As you can see it here, you can move the spoilers and the ailerons. I will use the speed brake so you can see all the spoilers as they look like. And the other side, the left wing and the right wing. And here we have the elevator, the horizontal stabilizer elevator, which is in the tail section, and the rudder, which we control with the rudder pedals. And we use all these control surfaces in the wings for modifying the dynamic pressure in the wing. So we change differential lift between the left and the right wing. That causes the aircraft to roll, or pitch and descend, pitch up or pitch down, for climb or descend while in flying. So I will be showing you a little bit more things right now. Here you can see the autopilot disconnect button, the trim, the horizontal stabilizer trim, which is in the yoke, as well as in the trim wheel over here, which we can use to trim the tail section of the aircraft up and down. And this is used for balancing the aircraft while in flying, and it's used also for takeoff using this flight management computer, as I'm going to show you later. Here we have the thrust lever of the engine. We move these levers to increase the thrust or decrease it. So you can see here in the ACAS, the engine indication and crew alert system display, the upper ACAS. We have here the N1, which is the front fund low speed rotation of the first stage of the engine, which is 88.5%. The exhaust gas temperature, which is 735 degrees. The fuel flow, which is 7,500 pounds per engine. The engine, the wing tanks here are filled up with 3,200 pounds of fuel each, while the center tank is empty. And here we have the N2, which is the high-speed compressor shaft of the high pressure compressor of the engine, which is 89.6%. The fuel flow again, the oil pressure, the oil temperature, the oil quantity, which should be like 55 parts if I remember well, and the engine vibration, which is measured in inches. Here we have the stabilizer trim up and down, which you use to stabilize the aircraft in flight. Here we have the fuel lever, fuel cutoff lever, which is used in engine start and engine shutdown to supply or stop the supply of the fuel in its engine, respectively. Here we have the auto thrust disconnect button in the engine thrust lever. Here we have the takeoff go around button. Here we have the thrust reverse. We move them up and we reverse the thrust, as you can see here displayed. There is a reverse right now, full reverse. And you can see the thrust reversers being deployed here in the engines. So we're gonna be speeding up some of the details now because we have not much time for this flight. We're gonna fly this aircraft with this side speed, as you can see. So I'm gonna start now the takeoff preparation right now, and I'm gonna be talking about the rest later. So we're gonna use this flight management and guidance computer, which is FMC actually in the Boeing flight management computer. This is used to input the aircraft values actually that we're gonna use in flight, and we can also modify them during flight so as to create a flight plan that the aircraft autopilot and flight directors will have to fly in flight to make an optimum glide, cruise and descent from the destination, from our origination airport to the destination airport. That is gonna make a safe flight plan. That is gonna create a flight path, which is gonna be horizontal later up and vertical, as you can see here and here in the navigation display over here. We have the airports around us, our airport, the Zurich International, and here is the aircraft right now. Here we can see other airports. Here is France, actually. Here is Switzerland, here is Germany, because we have also GPS input here in this screen. This is the primary flight display with the horizontal situation indicator, which displays information about the attitude of the aircraft while in flying. Here you can see the airspeed, the altitude we are at, the banking of the aircraft and the pitch of the aircraft in terms of the artificial horizon, and the magnetic compass horizontal situation indicator, our heading. And you can see here the airspeed selected in the autopilot displayed in magenta, and the altitude selected in the autopilot displayed also in magenta. We also have a radar altitude display, and we have the flight mode annunciator over here. This state displays the autopilot modes and the auto thrust modes, which are selected. Here we have the vertical speed, and here we have the airspeed trend line. And here is the autopilot. Here is the speed section with the speed arm and the level change arm, the speed intervening, the VNAV, the LNAV, the heading select, the altitude, the course, the auto thrust, the flight director, the vertical speed. And here is the autopilot engage buttons. The autopilot command A, we have a display here. Now is the autopilot engaged. And here is the control with steering function engaged. We have flight director right now, and CW is right, displaying yellow. And now we can disengage the autopilot like this. Okay, now we can set up the flight plan. I will first set our route we're going to be flying. This is our airport, the Lszh, Zurich International, our runway, and our destination airport. Here is the zero fuel weight of the aircraft. That is the aircraft weight empty plus the weight of the passengers and the payload. Here is the gross weight with the fuel on it. We have like 10,000 pounds of fuel right now. Our zero fuel weight is 121,000 pounds, and our gross weight 131,000 pounds. Our reserves for safety is 5%, and our cost index 100. And we will be flying at 35,000 feet for this flight. Over here, I press the execute, then I select the departure and arrival. That is going to create a flight path. over here. We're gonna have it created over here and displayed over here in this screen. So I'm going to show you right now. So we have it over here, departure, runway 14. Okay. The arrival is gonna be Lszh 14, and it's gonna be Trans-Negri 1 and Trans-Sameki. And we can have the waypoints we're gonna have over here, which is vertical and horizontal constraints for the flight path, which is actually a whole flight plan. We have the runway over here, our heading, and we're gonna change our heading right now because we're gonna align ourselves with the runway. So I'm gonna change this mode back to cylinder, and we have it over here. Here is our TCAS and our transponder. The radio management panel, we have communications with the air traffic controllers and the navigation for the ILS arming system. And here we have, I'm gonna change this displays over here in the auto part. When you arm the auto thrust, you don't know. Wait, don't have it yet. Okay, legs. I cannot arm the auto thrust right now, I don't know why. Maybe some kind of problem with the simulation. Okay. Have the wing up here. I can use it or not use it, it's no problem. Maybe I have to, that's why. It's resetting, that's why I cannot connect it. The auto thrust is reset. So I'm gonna use the flaps for takeoff. Okay. And the pitch stream for takeoff. Flaps 1.5. Center of gravity 22%, 25, 126. Our takeoff speed is gonna be 137 knots, as you can see it here. And our center of gravity is 22.3% of the aerodynamic chord. Our trim position is gonna be 7.73%, 7.73 degrees up. So I'm gonna use the pitch trim. Hope this is reset. Yeah, now I have the auto thrust arm. So we are ready to take off, and I'm gonna be explaining the rest of the systems later. I'm just gonna use the wings of the eyes now. We're gonna be very quick for this takeoff. So I'm going to decrease the graphics a little bit because we have bad performance like this to the medium. So I hope we're gonna have much better performance in terms of framing. I'm going to advance the throttles. And here we go. Very bad performance in terms of frame rate. Here we are with takeoff. I'm going to retract the landing gear. Maybe decrease the traffic. Nothing. It's not working. We have a very slow performance for this video. Okay, we have the on now. Everything is on. Here we can see the airspeed of the aircraft, 187 knots right now. Our altitude is 3,780 barometric, and the radar altitude was 2,500 feet above the ground, which we exceeded. And our rate of climb is 3,700 feet to the altitude of 35,000 feet, which is our target altitude, and our target speed is 250 knots. So I'm going to retract a few flaps right now. Here you can see the engine thrust for this engine, which is 99% for takeoff. I'm going to decrease the flaps a little bit more to increase the airspeed, give more margin over here in terms of airspeed. Here you can see our flight plan, which we have to follow. And here we have the view outside. So I'm gonna pitch it down a little bit this aircraft. I will try to climb very fast to the 25,000 feet because I have no time. I have to go in my work right now, which I hate. So you can see our thrust levers. It's disgusting. Okay. 98%, 746 degrees. Okay, we have our waypoints over here. I'm gonna turn left a little bit. Follow the flight plan. Maybe this is gonna fix it. We have very slow frames right now. Only 7.8, 12.6, and I don't know why this is happening. A little bit better right now. That's why. Not so much. Low frames per second because I had an add-on activated by mistake, which was slowing down my simulation. Useless add-on, I should say. We're almost gonna reach right now our maximum altitude. I'm gonna retract some more flaps. So we have the pitch stream that I was telling you is pitching up the aircraft to the 5 degrees point right now. Now we're gonna have better performance, I hope. Yeah, much better. We have better graphics right now displayed over here, but losing some performance. We are 21,000 feet, 900 right now. Here's a beautiful sky. The stars. Lots of stars. We're gonna be having some chemtrails in a little bit. And our airspeed right now is 0.505 Mach, which is half Mach, 280 knots. Here we can see our rate of climb. I'm going to be showing some more systems later. You can see the engine thrust lever setting right here. The engine thrust levers move by themselves thanks to the auto thrust, which is on right now. Engage. We're going to engage on this the altitude hold. Okay, we're having the speed arm. So we are 23,800, 900 feet right now, keep gliding. The modes here in the flight mode annunciator is the altitude hold, the later on navigation, and the mode control panel speed. Because we have no autopilot on right now, usually only the flight director setting. So we have to fly the aircraft manually. We can see the waypoints around us. We keep climbing all the way up to the 5,000 feet. We have some chemtrails over here. You can see this line been created. Our wing. And here we reach our altitude. The vertical speed that was showing, I'm gonna be 0 Rod. Okay. We're going to increase our airspeed a little bit more. I'm gonna try to hold this altitude manually right now. You can see our pitch right now, it's about 2.5 degrees. 5 degrees, 7.5, 10 degrees pitch, positive and negative, which is controlled by the elevator and the horizontal stabilizer chain. And here is our rudder input. We can turn left and right the tail section of the aircraft. I'm going to be showing you some of the views here. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to be turning back to the airport right now. So I'm going to roll the circle to the right side. I exceeded a little bit my altitude. I'm going to have to pull it down again by 300 feet. I'm going to retract the flaps fully because we're going to increase the airspeed right now to the 325. You can see, okay, here we have it. I'm gonna have to use some pitch trim up right now. Hold the aircraft level, hold it there. So I'm gonna use a little bit more airspeed. $135 knots. And I'm gonna use the direct to function. Trying direct to the fix. Okay. Here we have it. We're going back into the airport. Τώρα θα φύγω σε λίγο. Now I'm going to align the aircraft with the navigation display over here, flight path, that I'm going to follow back to the airport. So we're 46.9 nautical miles away from the airport. I'm gonna start descending in a while. You can see the flight path I was telling you about here, which we create from the flight plan here in the FMC. We have all the way there. We're gonna follow. Here we can see the progress of the aircraft in terms of fuel. And here we have the performance we're gonna use for landing. So we're gonna start descending now, I think. Yeah. We need to start descent. All the way to the 7,000 feet, which is our initial have some overspeed here. Okay. We'll decrease the speed margin a little bit for approach. Speed brake on, we are 33.6 nautical miles away from the airport. From the first fix actually, in the airport. So we keep descending. So I'm gonna try to land very quickly now, because I have no time, as I told you, for this flight. I'm gonna have to go do stupid work again. Useless work. It makes you really feel like a garbage sometimes. If you do something you don't really like. I'm gonna have to extend the landing gear in order. I'm gonna use the vol lock and the VNAV after the level change. And I'm going to try to approach the runway right now. Decrease the airspeed a little bit more to the landing margin. I'm gonna use the VNAV now. I don't know if I can ride. No. Yeah. You can see the runway over here. To the left. So I'm gonna make a left turn right now. You can see our altitude here. And the localizer. And our radar altitude here. Which I have to pay attention. It's 1,600 feet above the ground right now. I'm having some terrain here. I'm gonna use flaps like 30 or 40 degrees and land this aircraft manually with VFR settings. Actually, we're gonna make a visual approach for this landing. And use a manual thrust over here. Here we have the runway. You can see our settings here in the primary flight display. I'm going to decrease the thrust right now. Okay, here we have it. Reverse thrust and parking brakes there. Okay, we made a nice landing. I'm gonna show you some of the overhead panel now. Nothing right there. But I really have no time to show you all the instruments here. The IRS, the fuel panel, the electrical panel over here is all the way up with the displays, the air pressure panel, the cabin pressure, yeah, and the pneumatics and the hydraulic system and many other systems we have. The IRS, I was telling you about it, inertial reference system. So I'm gonna see you in the next episode. So this was Thomas. Thank you for flying with me for this flight from Zurich International to Zurich International with Boeing 737-800. We just have a nice landing and we're gonna see you in the next episode.